Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so overwhelmed right now because I'm in such a good mood because this card that just ended, Taira versus Park, was one of the most epic cards of the year. And I'm going to do a recap for this whole event. I might skim over some of the earlier prelims, but nonetheless, let's begin. First fight, Piera Rodriguez versus Ketlen Souza. I picked Piera Rodriguez to win, and she won. I picked her to win because I felt like Ketlen Souza, even though like she's strong and has shown some dominance on the ground before, I felt that Piera Rodriguez was just better. Also, like angrier, seemed to have more like of a will to win, and that's basically what we saw in this whole fight. We saw an angrier Piera Rodriguez. Ketlen Souza just was kind of catching up with her the whole time. Demonstrated a bit, of a lower fight IQ, just didn't have as many answers. And yeah, so Piera Rodriguez won. Let's move on to the next one. Rafael Estevam versus Felipe Bunes. Felipe Bunes seemed to have like a decent first round, like he seemed to be doing okay. And then in rounds 2 and 3, Rafael Estevam just basically ate him. I don't know how else to say that. It seemed that like Bunes just kind of gave up and lost his gas tank and like willpower at the same time. Yeah, and Rafael Estevam won a unanimous decision. By the way, guys, I'm just gonna say this now. I went 10-2 on picks, and I just feel so good about that. But okay, let's move on to the next one. Austin Bashi versus John Yannis. John Yannis had he didn't land a single strike. I think he landed like 2 leg kicks before Austin Bashi just took him down and wet blanketed him until he got the submission. It was such an aggressive performance from Austin Bashi, which is what I expected. I mean, he was like a minus 900 favorite, but that's to be expected when, you have a guy like this fighting a guy that just came from like the Fury organization. But yeah, super epic win for Austin Bashi. Let's move on to the next one. Nick Klein versus Andrey Pulyaev. Man. I picked Andrey Pulyaev to win. Nick Klein seems to only have like enough energy in the first round, but he can't like get a finish. Because I guess like in the previous organization he was fighting in, this was working like he would do well in the first round, get the finish, and not have to worry about the following rounds. But yeah, Nick Klein tried to submit Andrey Pulyaev in the first, couldn't do it. Andrey Pulyaev had pretty decent defense. And in the second round, Nick Klein just kind of looked a little like damp and wilted, like immediately. I mean, he was already kind of looking like that at the end of the first, but then like it was really evident in the second round. And Andrey Pulyaev, I forget what he caught him with, but he just like, I think it was a kick. It was like a kick. I think it was a kick to the gut. Was it this fight that was? Yeah, I think he got him with a kick and then with a left hand, and just got a really clean KO. So, 2 not so great fighters, but Nick Klein obviously sucks a lot more. So, anyways, let's move on to the next one: Rodolfo Vierira versus Tresean Gore. I predicted for Rodolfo Vierira to win. He won. Tresean Gore didn't even really fight. He feinted a lot. He had a lot of feints. But other than that, it just felt like kind of an easy win for Rodolfo Vierira because there wasn't much that Tresean Gore was throwing back at him at all. Tresean Gore was kind of in there looking like he was like gonna fight and then just never did. So Rodolfo Vierira got the decision win. Plain and simple. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Rinya Nakamura versus Nathan Fletcher. I don't know how quick this KO was. I picked Rinya Nakamura. I felt really good about that. I don't know how quick this KO was, but it all happened so fast before my eyes. Like I literally like turned and all of a sudden like for like a split second, and then all of a sudden I saw Rinya Nakamura just beating up Nathan Fletcher. I swear it couldn't have been more than 30 seconds. Rinya Nakamura just killed Nathan Fletcher. Like a savage, which is crazy to see from a Japanese man, but yeah, that was epic. Solid, clean KO. I don't know what else to say. I actually have very few words. I'm like speechless tonight. So, anyways, we're just gonna carry on. Danny Silva versus Kevin Vallejos. I picked Kevin Vallejos to win. He has better fight IQ. We knew this. Danny Silva I just feel like I just feel like he has a ceiling and he's demonstrated it, and he hasn't like been able to adjust during the fights at all. And that's something Kevin Vallejos was able to do. He was landing like in the first round, I think like that's when they were both feeling each other out, and Kevin Vallejos realized that like, oh, the body shots seem to be really effective. Let me just, do more of those. Whereas Danny Silva kind of was lost for the first 2 rounds, and then suddenly in the last round, he was just kind of fighting with pure adrenaline, which is I think what like maybe he got that round. I'm not quite sure. I think he might have gotten that last round, but it's because he finally like was awakened and realized like, oh wait, I need to fight. Like I need to I need to get it finished to win this. So we did see, like finally a bit of a performance from him in the third, but still I just don't think that like that's the problem is like if your fight IQ isn't IQing, then like your chances of winning drastically go down. So solid win for Kevin Vallejos. He's a very defensive fighter, and I think that's why I also like felt really confident about picking him, because he doesn't do anything stupid, and he basically won without a scratch on his face almost. Well, not exactly, but he was never in like a dangerous moment really, from what I remember. Let's move on to the next one. Neil Magny versus Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos. I actually picked, I think this was the first fight I got wrong on this card. I picked Dos Santos to win. It was a hard pick for me, honestly. It was hard to choose, but Dos Santos was actually doing well for the first 2 rounds. Well, not exactly well, but like he was winning via control time because he was just always in a more dominant position. And then in the 3rd round, he got caught and he just kind of like tumble rolled onto the ground. And I kind of sensed that it was over at that point, because he's also like 40. So like I wouldn't be surprised if his like recovery rate isn't all that. Like he just wasn't able to recover from that. And Neil Magny just followed up and was able to KO him after that with no issues. So I felt like if that didn't happen, Dos Santos probably could have won a decision, but he is apparently very fragile now at the age of 40. So, and I mean, he's definitely not in his prime by any means. So Neil Magny got that win. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next one. These were actually the only 2 fights I got wrong on this card. That one and Karol Rosa versus Nora Cornolle. I picked Nora Cornolle to win. I guess I didn't know too much about Karol Rosa. I haven't seen her around that much, but I had felt that Nora Cornolle had really shown some improvement in her last 2 fights, and I guess I was wrong, because it seems that probably the case was that she was fighting women that just weren't as good, which made her seem better, like she had improved, because the performance she demonstrated to us tonight was really terrible. Like the same as how she used to look when she was losing, and just had no answers on the ground. She just got completely dominated by Karol Rosa for 3 rounds straight with no answers. Could not get up at all. Like she was just lying there, like in a really disappointing kind of, like she didn't get up once. I don't think she got up once. Maybe she did. I don't know. I don't remember that. Maybe I'm being too negative. But like, yeah, Karol Rosa just got a really clean win by lying on top of Nora Cornolle, because that's all she really had to do. So yeah, I don't know why that fight was on the main card, by the way. But anyhow, let's move on to the next one. This is where the glory begins. Okay, Elves Brenner versus Estevam Ribovics. I had picked Estevam Ribovics because he's a marauder. But no, he can actually really fight. He has like an unlimited gas tank, it seems, like crazy output. I knew that Elves Brenner was going to be durable. He's shown that in his previous fights. Like he can take a beating. He has a solid chin. But I also felt that like, he's probably going to lose. But I was surprised that he was kind of like able to keep up with Ribovics in some kind of way. the intensity of the shots that Ribovics was landing and the combos and the accuracy and the timing, it was just all so good. They both looked crazy after the fight, but like it was just such an impressive performance from Ribovics. And also at the end, during the interview with Ribovics, when, you know, he was asked about his performance, what he had to say was, "Oh, this isn't even like my best performance. Like I should bring an even better version of myself to the UFC." And I just found that so amazing because I'm like, dude, you just put on such a great performance. I thought this was gonna be fight of the night. Before, you know, the fight that came next. But it was just I thought it was an epic performance, but this is crazy. If this is how he sees himself, I can't wait to see how he's going to improve, because obviously he hasn't even met his own ceiling yet, which is amazing. Amazing. Truly amazing. That ended up being a decision, but it was just like a super high-paced, amazing fight. I couldn't look away. Both guys just trying to go for the kill, but Esteban Ribovics ultimately was the better man. Let's move on to the next one. Mateusz Rubecki. Everyone keeps calling him Rembowski, which is I don't see an M or an O or a U in there, but I don't know. I'm gonna call him Rubecki versus Chris Duncan. I had picked Chris Duncan, guys. Let me have my moment. Let me have my moment. Because I don't know how many of you were picking Chris Duncan, but I had a feeling. The reason I picked Chris Duncan was because, well, for a few reasons. First of all, I felt that his fight IQ was just higher. I knew he was good on the ground. I knew he was good on the feet. The thing about Mateusz Rubecki that I was saying was, yes, he's really tanky. He's really strong and durable, but he's just not the best fighter. And we saw that in his last fight where he ended up just taking a bunch of damage and couldn't finish the guy. I did pick him to win in that last fight, and that's just something I noticed, is that like, oh, he kept trying and pushing forward, but just like couldn't. Like he just didn't have enough ability to get a finish. So that's why I picked Chris Duncan, because I'm like, listen, I've underestimated Chris Duncan many a times, and I'm not going to do it again. And I was so right. Chris Duncan was just one step ahead of Rubecki the whole time, landing the better shots, dodging the shots from Rubecki like really well also. Rubecki tried to get some takedowns every now and then, and like to no avail, because Chris Duncan just reversed them, stood up. It was like nothing. And yeah, this fight was all like more epic than the last. Hats off to both of these men for just like putting their lives on the line, basically, is kind of what it felt like. These last two fights, especially this one, just completely left me speechless. Super crazy, impressive win for Chris Duncan, but also like hats off to Rubecki for pushing through all that and also giving it his all. Yeah, I think that's the best underdog pick on this card. And to all of you who followed my parlays. Let's move on to the next one, the last one, guys. Tatsuro Taira versus Hyung-Sung Park. Of course, I picked Tatsuro Taira. Hyung-Sung Park took this fight last minute, didn't look good at the weigh-ins. Looked like he was going to lose. Looked like he knew he was going to lose. And that's okay. Tatsuro Taira looked fucking great. Like so much better than even the last time we saw him. Like, he was in such great shape. In the first round, he looked good on the feet, too. I think he knocked Hyung-Sung Park down and then immediately just jumped on top of him and wet blanketed him. And was just trying to get a submission the whole time. Didn't quite get it, but in the second round, I actually didn't even see how quick it happened in the second round. I literally looked away to read the chat. Shouldn't have done that. But, and then I looked back and all of a sudden all I see is Hyung-Sung Park tapping and, you know, Tatsuro Taira just jumping up and getting the finish. Crazy last three fights. Really epic card. I can't believe this was an Apex card. This is probably like the best Apex card that ever was. I don't remember an Apex card ever being this amazing ever. Like I'm shocked. I was almost not even gonna stream this, and I'm so glad that I did, because the dopamine is just rushing through my body right now. So thank you to all of you guys that joined me on the stream. Thank you to all of you who support me and show me love, and for all of you that trust me with predictions. yeah, because we've just been getting better on this channel, and yeah, speechless. I have no words, so I'm going to finish off this video. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Hopefully I said everything that needed to be said. And yeah, do join me next week. Who's fighting next week, actually? Dalitze versus Hernandez. Ooh, this should be a good one. So yeah, join me next week for that card. I'll try and put out a prediction video, actually. Not just the live. And yeah. I'm so happy! Thank you. I'm not even just happy, thank you. I am so happy, thank you. Thank you, I'm so happy. Anyways, guys. Many thanks, much love, and I'll see you on the next one.